Thank you very much, sir. Um, so you talked about for next steps, really, for the NSAS movement, from protesting to nation building. Short term, focus on the 5 for 5, ensure the judicial panels work, define clear objectives, make them few but strategic objectives. And then in the medium term, get involved in the political process. I mean, I've heard you talk about this, but for the benefit of those who are joining us, the mental block, and I guess, I mean, you've also alluded to it about power being in the mind, the mental block of politics being them, especially for those in the religious space. Oh, politics is dirty. Oh, they very aversion, as my friends would say, to not wanting to get their white stained. So we shy away from it and don't engage, but you can't really change policies without politics. What would you say to, in a sense, unpack that in people's minds about the importance of getting involved? Not, and well, let me not say the importance, because I think people know the importance, but then
Yes.
navigating the the journey of how
Yeah.
bad it is to how good we want to make it, and the in between that will not be as pretty.
Right. Um, I think one significant point, I agree with you that it's not that people don't know that politics is important or that they're not interested in getting involved. I think it's the violence,
Mm,
really, that keeps people away. We've seen not powerful people taken out, we've seen powerful people killed. You know, we've seen uh, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister for Justice killed and nothing came out of it, right in his house. Okay, we've seen a presidential aspirant that won a free and fair election lose his life in the process. So, I mean, at the point at which people make sacrifices, changes happen. In Nigeria, you've seen people still frustrate even that and make people sacrifices like it was worth nothing. Then Nigerians ask themselves, is Nigeria worth dying for? So each person then tries to just take care of themselves, you know. So, um, so in one of my threads to the NSAS movement, I spoke about power, you know, over the weekend, the various forms of power. That physical power, including violence, is the basic, the primal form of power. But there are other forms. Now, you have the power of the state, the power of government. You know, in Nigeria, people say, "Ah, after God, now government too." You know, yeah, the state has power. It makes laws, it enforces them. And it usually has the monopoly of the instruments of violence. Okay. Unfortunately, those instruments have been employed the negative way, right? So, but I point out the other forms like wealth. Okay. So you see that political power is used in Africa to control how people get wealth as power. Then I pointed out the power of ideas, then the power of numbers. And I said, a large number of foxes can kill a lion if they work together. Okay. So the people in politics also know that the numbers count. There's a reason why government moved fast to accede to the request of the NSAS movement was a volume of young people, both on the streets and online. So, and when it comes to numbers, because I've experienced that, I mean, governments all over the world, if you have the capacity to pull, say, 10,000 people together in one place, they have a file for you with the Secret Service in any country.
yes.
Okay? Because if you create problems, government knows it will have to spend a lot of money to solve that problem. Okay? So I encourage young people, be deliberate about building your brand.
Mm.
Whatever, and that requires you identifying your strengths, identifying your talents, okay? And then acquiring competence and rising as fast and as high as you can in your field. Look at what our friends in the entertainment industry did and how much power they brought into the movement. They are talented, they're gifted with music, And some of them have worked so hard. Now they have global influence. They have millions of people following them on social media. Those numbers alone, they're huge. So everybody needs to do that. There is no field from which you cannot influence political power or the political process. I've seen people cross. It's like the president of the United States, the current president of the United States. He was a businessman for so long, yeah. And then from business, he crossed. You see people from the entertainment industry cross like that, and things like that. So I encourage people, build your influence. Okay, build influence to get the numbers and leverage the numbers. So, you know, the interesting thing, rigging is difficult.
Very.
In an election. If the mass of the people, a large number of people, you know, are moving in a particular direction, changing, you know that if you change it, you have problem. It's like what's going on in Belarus. The citizens have almost grounded the country. They say, we know who we voted for. And in case you're not sure, we'll come out on the street so that you will know how many we are. We know who we voted for. We want you out. So we will need, therefore, to enlighten people about those other forms of power because they are there, they are latent. The one important thing here is the younger generation in Nigeria has the numbers, period. The younger generation has the numbers. We are not as powerless as they have made us to believe. It's in the mind.
Indeed, indeed. We're not as powerless as they have made us to believe. It is in the mind. And we have some great stories from Office of the Citizen, the radio program that we do with people when they realize their power and then they get results from government. There's always like a eureka moment, like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I had that power. And it's very rewarding to hear people say that. Wow. Okay, we're right on the top of 7. So we'll start with questions. I will deliberately, unfortunately, not allow people talk just because the culture of short questions, we don't do very well.